Hi folks, how are you doing? This is my take two. New webcam, new setup, my main PC rather than laptop. So this should be a little bit easier than trying to do it all on the one small screen laptop, which is what I was doing the last time out. Um, Thanks to everybody who watched the last video. It was really great. I was delighted to see it got a good few views and a couple of comments as well. So really appreciate it. Delighted to keep doing these if people want to watch them, and try and keep them going anyway until we either get back to dojo or we kind of hit summertime as we kind of at our normal kind of finishing time. Again, it seems like because this is a for kids YouTube channel, I had to tag the content as being for kids. It's disabled comments, so you can always go to the CoderDojo Athenry blog and leave comments there if you find something doesn't work out. The best thing you can do is to send your model files on if you're stuck with something, and I'll have you try and take a look at them and figure out what's going on. So I have there's a cat wandering around in here, so if she appears in front of the video at some stage, don't be shocked or surprised. She's not here right now, but when I was doing take one, she was behind the monitor rummaging in some envelopes. So we'll see. It could happen. We'll just try and work around it best we can. So I thought today what we might do is just do something nice and simple, kind of self-contained, but pretty cute. I thought we'd do a couple of little low poly trees. They're pretty easy to do, something we could do fairly nice and quick, but it's a cool thing to learn. And once you have them, you can import them into kind of other models. So you could bring a few into the tank model, for example, that we've done already. You could pop a few trees around there, that would look cool. So let's get started. I've here got Blender open, and I've got the default cube up. I wonder, the cursor is supposed to be on. I can't see it in OBS. Hopefully you guys can see it. I don't know, it just doesn't seem to be there to me. Boom boom. Alright, it may not matter too much. I think people, you'll understand what I'm doing anyway. Yeah, I'd really like to see the cursor though. Let me just have a look. Toggle capture cursor on and off and see. Oh, ba-dum. Maybe, is it because the window's not got focus? It's because the window didn't have focus. Alright. Slight teething problems. Nothing too major. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with just one vertex, and we're going to extrude it up to make a tree-like shape. So there's no obvious way in Blender just to get one vertex. So we'll start with the default cube, and I'm going to hit tab for edit mode, and all of the vertices are selected. So I'm going to go to vertex here, and I'm just going to merge all the vertices together at the center, and basically that just collapses it down then to one vertex right in the middle. So that's our little solitary vertex now right at the start. So you might remember from a few weeks ago I talked about quick extruding stuff with control right click. So since that little center vertex is selected, I'll go to control right click, and you can see now that I've got the original vertex down here and another one up here. So that's two. So we've got the kind of the first bit of our tree. So let's see. So most trees follow a kind of a pattern. So I thought, they kind of go up, and then maybe they do one branch or two branches or whatever. So I thought today what I'll do is I'll do at every kind of point in the tree, I'll do one piece of the branch going up and two side branches coming off. So from this one I'm going to right click again, and it kind of more or less straight up extrude there, and then I'm going to pick that one again. I'm going to turn it around a bit so it goes off at a different angle, and I'm going to right click there to get that one off, and click it again, select it, and right click there. So now those are little feints, so I'll just select them all so we can see. So we've got this kind of a branching off kind of business like that going on, and obviously the first part of the trunk is going to be longer than each subsequent bit are going to be kind of relatively shorter. So let's pick one of these. Again, I'll kind of do one coming more or less kind of straight off from it, and then I'll put another two little branches going maybe to the side. Just move the camera around as you do this so you get different angles on the little branches as they come off. You can obviously You can obviously move these vertices later as it suits to change the shape, but just so that's probably enough for our tree already. You could go down another level if you want to do some more even smaller branches on it, but I think I'm kind of happy with that. So obviously our tree is not at all solid right now, and let me just select it all there just so even make it easier to see, because it's the black, those little single vertices on the black background are hard to pick out. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the modifier panel over here, and we're going to find a modifier called skin, and skin is going to essentially throw some solid shape on top of that very thin little thing that we have. Now right now it's too big and it's all very blobby looking, so it doesn't look right yet. That's fine. What I'm going to do first of all is I'm just going to select X-ray mode just so I can still see the little vertices inside, otherwise we won't really be able to work with them. So when you've got the skin modifier on, there's a special key stroke combination, Control A. So Control A, and when you press that, it changes basically the weight of the skin at every selected vertex. So just do Control A and then move the mouse till you get it maybe as thin as you want on the small ones. Okay, so we're just going to get as thin as we want on the little small ones there, and just click. Now that's much better looking. Okay, that looks cool. So now once we've done that, what we'll do is we'll select all of the other vertices, just not the tips, not the everything but the tips, and we'll do Control A again, and we'll just make those a bit bigger. Just start, and then we'll go one more level, and we'll Control A again, and we'll just again make that a bit bigger, and then finally all the way just the base of the tree. And there we go, we've got a kind of a nice tree shape. Now at this stage you might want to tweak your little tree a bit. One thing you'll notice is that if the first piece of the tree is not very straight up, it's going to kind of tilt the base of the tree there. So there's a few things you can do. I could take that one and I could just kind of move it over to straighten the bottom of the tree a bit. That's one way to do it. Or alternatively, what I could do is I could switch to edge select. I could select that edge and subdivide it, and then go back to vertex. So I had one more node, and I could just maybe move that one there, so that would give you a bit more interesting, bit more of an interesting shape, and still just come from the side so I can see what I'm doing. Yeah, I like it. Okay, so that's just giving a bit more interest to our tree. It's very windswept and pushed over. Now that I'm looking at it, I want to tweak it more. So maybe just, how do I want it to look? And then I'd like maybe the branches to be spread out a bit more. So maybe we take all of that branch, and I'm going to bring that back this way. Yeah, okay, I'm pretty satisfied with that. That looks nice. So that's, we'll switch X-ray off again. So that's our kind of trunk done. So let's go and give it a material. So I'll go down here to the material properties panel. We've already got a material there. Let's call it trunk, and we'll select, we'll give it a nice brown color, so we'll get into the oranges and then darken them up. A nice kind of browny, woody color. And let's switch the view here to viewpoint shading so we can see. And obviously it's going to be quite rough, and it's not really going to be too shiny, so that's going to look pretty nice for our little tree trunk. Okay, so now that we've got our tree trunk done, we need to put some leaves in. So the cheapest way to do some leaves here is to put in some other shapes. Some icospheres are really good for this sort of thing, for kind of natural shapes. You take an icosphere and just stretch it out a bit, and it looks good for kind of natural shapes like rocks and stuff like this. So maybe what I'll do is I'm just going to set the 3D cursor by clicking, which I don't think we've done before, but if you hold shift and then right click on something, it will set the cursor. See, it actually kind of looks to where you clicked onto something, so it's actually got the cursor right there onto that kind of bit of the model. So that's a handy spot for us to start out with. So kind of just there. So let's add in a mesh an icosphere mesh. Okay, cool. And we'll tab into edit mode, and let's just scale it back a bit for starters. Something like that. Okay, then a good idea is to put on proportional editing up here and start grabbing a couple of vertices, and then just G, and then just by controlling the size just start pulling those around until we just make the shape a bit more interesting. A bit more organic looking. One thing it does, I'm kind of hitting our branches a bit, so I might just hit A and just G, Z, and just move it all up a bit. I'm going to look to G, Z, so we can still see some of our nice branches there. Cool. And then we just scale it not in Z, Shift Z, just to kind of make it a bit bigger that way. Yeah, it's cool. Alright. And then what we can do is we can just maybe, everything's selected up there already, so if we can duplicate, so you can either hit Shift D or you can, I guess, do it from here. Is it mesh? Duplicate? Yeah, you can do it there. Alright, so that makes another copy. So let's just move it roughly where we want to, and then we'll just come around to the other side and G and move it into place. Okay, now it looks super similar to the other one, so we might just or Z to rotate around Z for starters, just to differentiate it first of all. And I'm just going to or there just to rotate in the direction we're looking at. And then we're going to start doing some proportional editing on this too, just to start making it look different to the other one. Again, there's no science here, so whatever looks good. Cool. I'm pretty happy with that. Okay. Let's just select a bit of that top one again, and I'm going to do Control L to copy, select linked, and then Shift D, duplicate that. I'm going to put it there. It's a bit high. Oh, proportional editing still on, so let's turn that off for a minute till we position it. Rotate it a bit there. That already looks kind of good, but I'm going to just edit it a little bit too. Proportional editing back on. What was on? Just start taking some of those back a bit. Okay, that looks pretty neat. Alright, so let's tab out back into object mode, and of course now let's give our tree a little material. We'll call this one canopy, or canopy, or leaves, whatever you fancy. So again, let's put it into a nice green, bring it down to a darker shade of green. That looks really good. And notice for this low poly stuff, it looks better not smooth shaded, you know. It looks, that kind of faceted look is pretty good here, so it looks nice like that. So once you've got one tree, I'm gonna just change the name of this one to canopy, and change the name of this to tree 1 actually. And I'm going to take the canopy and I'm going to drag it over here, holding Shift down, drop set parent. It's not in the same collection, it's weird. Right, I just dragged it over the collection. I'm not sure why it created it outside of the collection. Okay, so there it is. So now if I move tree, that canopy is going to come with it, which is great. So it's easy then to create, once you've got your kind of first tree, it's super easy just to create variations on it after that. So let's just Shift G and duplicate that tree, and actually I'm immediately just going to press, after Shift D without hitting enter or anything, X2. Oh, didn't select the hierarchy, did I? No, I didn't select hierarchy. There we go. I'm just going to select both of them. Okay, sorry, delete that copy. Let's do this again. Select hierarchy. I want to select the canopy and the trunk. So Shift D, then immediately Y and 2. I did it in Y. Oh man, I'm making a hard job out of this. Alright, let's do GX3, just push it away from the other one. Okay, that's better. I was just trying to show you when you duplicate, you can immediately hit a direction and an offset and it will put the copy over that way, but that wasn't working so well for me. So let's play with this duplicate here and change it around a bit. So let's tab in, let's select the trunk, tab to edit. Again, we're going to need to put X-ray on so we can see these guys, but again, all you have to do is just start moving these a bit, you know, whatever you like. Doesn't have to be too crazily complicated. Let me have that one over there selected. I'm just going to select everything and rotate around Z as well, just to even kind of play with it a bit more. And then let's go into the canopy here, edit that, Control L. I'm just going to maybe delete that one, and I'm just going to make these two kind of span over the whole thing instead, again, just to really make it look different. So Control L just to select that linked, and we're going to move it to, actually got to take this one here, Control L, and I'm going to move it down to this lower one. Oop, proportional editing is on. Try that again, Control L, G, move it over there, and again I'm going to rotate it a bit, and G, that looks cool. Control L, we'll take that one again, and maybe just rotate it a bit. Again, it's all just in the cause of making it look different. Rotate it, and there, and maybe just scale it up a bit, and then proportionally editing, just select a couple of those and just kind of pull them that way. You know, so you can keep doing as many of these as you want, but they're going to look nice. The more you have, obviously, the less you're going to see that they're just repeated over and over and over again, and they'll look nice and look different. So I hope you have some fun with that. Obviously, what you can do too is if you just want a bush, you don't have to, you can just do an isosphere on its own, just sitting on the ground. Don't need to do any trunk at all, and that's going to look cool as well. And you can, once you've got many copies, you can start, you know, playing with the, adding in more materials and playing with the color. So, you know, if I took this one, this canopy, and I duplicated that material here, see that copy material button there, copy. So that's now canopy 1 is now a copy, so it's separate to the old one. So I can change the color of this one separately. So, you know, what's that going to look like? You know, just some nice different shade. Again, that's going to create distinction and make them look good. Similarly, I could have selected that trunk, copied it. Now I've got a second trunk color. You know, so you know that could be some shade. So now you've got a bunch of different looking trees that all have kind of nice distinct features. The other thing you could finally do, maybe if you really want to, is what if you wanted to make one of them look like a fruit tree? You could potentially, you know, let's shift and right click to put the 3D cursor there, and let's add in a new icosphere again and scale it down, and let's assign a color to it, a new material to it. Let's call it apple, and just give it a nice apple shade, and a little bit darker. And you know, then it just takes patience to just duplicate those, Shift D, and just start distributing them around. Depends on how much patience you've got. nice thing is that you can kind of see, where it's cutting, when it's cutting through something else. So you can see when it's in the right kind of spot. D and G. Yeah, so that's the makings of a fruit tree. I won't go any further, but you get the idea. Kind of simple little fruit tree. Okay, I think that'll do for today. Again, if you've watched, thanks very much for watching. Hope you have fun with this. Create lots of little trees and be creative with it. And if you've got any problems, drop me a comment on the CoderDojo Athenry blog and I'll be more than happy to give you a hand. Thanks again. Bye for now. See you next week.